What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Monkey Flop here, and today I got your PlayStation news. Now, if you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure to hit a like, comment down below, support your boy. If you guys are new, of course, subscribe with those bell notifications turned on. Let's go ahead and get into our first of many news topics. When the PlayStation 5 releases in 2020, there's rumor and speculation that it's going to have a PlayStation 5 Pro releasing alongside of it. Now, this news is actually stemming from a YouTube streamer who streams in Japan, Zenji Nishigawa. I'm really bad with names, so please correct me in those comments down below. I really try my hardest, and I ask other people to help me out with pronunciations. But with that being said, he actually predicted the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is kind of hard to actually predict because a lot of people were predicting a Nintendo Switch Pro, and he predicted the Lite would be released first, and a lot of people are saying like, okay, he's got some like inside information somewhere, somehow, and well, the stream was actually archived, and it's in Japanese, so I can't translate it, but a lot of other people did, and pretty much that's what he said, is that the PlayStation 5 is going to be releasing a PlayStation 5 like regular edition and then a Pro edition. And while a lot of people, like I said, are saying that, dude, they're totally not going to do that the way that they do marketing. And if we look at the PlayStation 4, they released the first PlayStation 4, then they released the Slim, then they released the Pro, and then they released different models of the Slim and the Pro. But it would actually be kind of smart marketing on PlayStation's end if they did actually release a more consumer-friendly PlayStation 5, a more affordable PlayStation 5 to be able to get like in everybody's home, and then release alongside of it like, hey, you want to go ahead and spend the extra money and get a beefy system, then here's the PlayStation 5 Pro. But I'm going to pass the question off to you. Do you think that Sony is going to jump the gun and release a PlayStation 5 regular edition and a PlayStation 5 Pro simultaneously when the PlayStation 5 releases? Which one would you guys pick up? I think I would honestly pick up the launch one, the regular one, because I know later on down the line they're going to release like better versions of the PlayStation 5, and I would probably prefer to get a PlayStation 5 Pro later on down the line where it has like, you know, better specs and is maybe a little bit cheaper, but that's my opinion. Next up, I actually wanted to quickly mention the shirt that I got. I was at the mall yesterday. I rarely ever go to the mall, and I went into Spencer's and they had a really sick Children of the Vault t-shirts, but unfortunately they didn't have any love for 2XL at all. Like, the largest size that they had in it was extra large, and it really got me upset. And I headed over to GameStop and I was like, hey, where are all your shirts? Because they only had a few of them, and they had like Xbox and like Modern Warfare. I'm like, don't you guys have like Borderlands stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, the store shifted around a little bit, let's go and check it out. So I actually picked up this shirt, which I think is pretty cool too. The one at Spencer's was freaking sick as heck, but this one is actually pretty cool too. And it came with like this fancy box. It was actually cheaper, go figure, than the Spencer's one, which just was a t-shirt, and I didn't get this like fancy box to go with it. Do I need this box?
Guess not.
I mean, where do I even begin with this next news story? This actually broke a couple of days ago, and I didn't really feel like covering it because we've already said it on the channel, and I didn't feel like it was like newsworthy, but a lot of you guys asked and request for me to cover it, and that is Sony acquiring Insomniac Games means that they also acquired Sunset Overdrive. And keep in mind, like, about a year ago, I actually made a rumor and speculation video about Sony acquiring Sunset Overdrive and Sony, you know, bringing Sunset Overdrive to the PlayStation Nation. And I guess Sony made a comment a couple of days ago, and said that they have acquired Sunset Overdrive, which was a surprise to some people, but not many other people. But they also commented and said that they don't have any plans for it yet. I mean, the series Sunset Overdrive, the game in itself, is a pretty awesome game, and they could do so much with it. But it's kind of like dead right now, so we'll probably see more of Sunset Overdrive, honestly, on the PlayStation 5. I doubt that we'll see anything at all on the PlayStation 4. I mean, PlayStation 4 is at the end of the life cycle, and Sony acquiring Insomniac Games is to better further their games library, of course, with the PlayStation 5 when that gets released. Now, you know you're getting close to a game's release when it gets shown off at game events and even playable. We've gotten some conflicting reports that says that The Last of Us 2 is going to be playable at Madrid Game Week, which is going to be happening from October 3rd to the 6th. But then we also got some reports that are saying no, they're not going to have a playable demo for The Last of Us 2, and it might not even be shown off. Now, keep in mind, this is all rumor and speculation, so please take that with a grain of salt. But I do believe that we will see some sort of, Last of Us 2 announcement, whether it is a, just showing off some more gameplay, or if it's going to be playable at Madrid's Games Week. Are you guys really excited about The Last of Us 2, or are you guys kind of like, I don't know, it's been so long and we're still waiting for a release date. Some people are like kind of like frustrated and saying like, dude, The Last of Us 2 is not going to release until the PlayStation 5 gets released. It might release like alongside of it, and that's probably why they haven't actually announced a release date. But The Last of Us 2 has been in the mix for quite some time, so I do believe it's going to come to the PlayStation 4. My hope is that it gets released on the PlayStation 4, and then whenever the PlayStation 5 gets released, then we would get it on the PlayStation 5 too. What are your guys' thoughts on that, though? Do you guys believe like it is going to be shown off, or it isn't? Because like we got so many reporters saying that it's going to be shown off, and then we have a few reporters that are saying like, no, don't believe the hype, it's not going to be shown off at all. Next up, I actually wanted to talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now, you guys have been asking for me to cover Nintendo Switch news for quite some time. Some of you guys maybe not so much because you're more of like PlayStation, console, or maybe PC, and I totally get that. That's why I included this at the end of the video. So if you guys watched up until the end, hashtag flop in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite. I have two Nintendo Switches at home. These are the regular ones. These aren't even the newer versions that have better battery life or anything like that. But because I do have two, I wanted to give you guys my opinion on the Lite as well, because I've seen it, I played it, I've held it in my hands, and it actually feels pretty good. It feels a little bit better than these Joy-Cons here. It's a little bit better spaced, and you do have a little bit more of a functional D-pad, which is a nice feature as well. It reminds me a lot of the DS, kind of, maybe the 2DS, and it also reminds me a lot of the PlayStation Vita, just the way that it looks, the way that it feels. Of course, it's a little bit bigger than that, but a lot smaller than this. And me personally, I'm not going to be getting the Nintendo Switch like anytime soon. These bad boys right here are perfectly fine for me. I love the fact that it can actually dock it. I can play multiplayer games. We have several different Joy-Cons that we can take off and put back on. The Nintendo Switch Lite is not like that. If you guys want to play like multiplayer, you just gotta have to have like extra ones of these like laying around, or extra like pro controllers. The Nintendo Switch Lite, has been getting a lot of like mixed reviews on pretty much around YouTube, and even like game journalists and things like that. And I really believe that the target audience for the Nintendo Switch Lite is children, or at least young adults, like from the ages of like 8 to like 13 maybe. I don't think that the Nintendo Switch Lite would be for you and I, to be completely honest with you guys. But if you have like young kids and you don't want to like risk this getting broken, or you want a cheaper version, then the Nintendo Switch Lite would probably be a good option. Love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions about everything that we talked about here today. Make sure to hit a like. If you guys are new, subscribe with those bell notifications turned on. If you watched up until this point, put monkey in the comments down below. I will see you guys in the next news update. You guys are freaking awesome.